All right. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second God of War game in the channel, and, well, the second God of War game, period. God of War 2. And I am already hearing it. They just announced the remake. Why are you doing this now? I'm going to be frank here. I started recording this, like, weeks ago. Then they I would say surprised me with the announcement of the God of War trilogy remake. But I'm gonna be frank here, I wasn't that surprised. I was more like, oh wow, it's actually happening. It's like, oh wow, they're finally doing it. But yes, I'm finally doing God of War 2, and I think I have to shut the fuck up for a little bit.
Yeah. By defeating Ares, Kratos, the once mortal warrior, became the new God of War. However, Kratos soon found himself alone on Olympus, shunned by his fellow gods. But Kratos had no need for the love of petty gods. He had found a new family in the warriors of Sparta, gaining solace from his past and carnage of battle.
My lord, Kratos! Another city is ready to fall! Soon all shall know the glory of Sparta!
Enough, Kratos! With every city you destroy, the wrath of Olympus grows. Soon I will no longer be able to protect you.
I need no protection.
Do not forget that it was I who made you a god, Ghost of Sparta. Do not turn your back on me.
I owe you nothing.
Then you leave me no choice.
Kratos had turned the pain of his memories into hatred. Hatred for the gods, who had refused to free him from the nightmares of his past deeds. And so he went to Rhodes to deliver the final blow to the besieged city.
Conspire against me!
Alright, so real quick, let's recap the events real quick. So last game, Kratos killed Ares and ended up taking the throne of the God of War. But according to the narration there, it seems that Kratos has kind of become bitter about being the God of War and has decided to just basically go on a rampage and conquer cities in the name of Sparta. Which, makes sense. Kratos is a Spartan and they always are about Spartan glory. But the reason he's so bitter, by the way, is because really the gods did fuck him over by lying to him about what they were going to do in relation to Kratos' nightmares related to his past. Because remember, Kratos killed his family by accident when he was under the control of Ares, and in order to... and he sought, he served the gods to help him rid the nightmares. But they never did that, and instead they just decided to fuck him over and make him the one thing he kind of really hated in the first place, being the God of War. But so it seems that the other gods of Olympus, specifically Zeus and Athena, are not a big fan of Kratos right now. I say specifically Zeus, but because we will see that Zeus is not a big fan of Kratos at the moment later on in this part. So yes, this intro is basically this whole section is basically the tutorial of the game. Similar to the Hydra fight last game, where you're going to be learning about the basic game mechanics. You're going to be dealing with the boss fight of the area, which in this case is that giant statue back there. So, in terms of what's carried over from the last game, basically, everything is about the same as last time. You can do magic attacks with the L2 button, which is the blue meter. You have your health meter, which is the green meter. Kratos can do basic attacks with the square button, heavy attacks with the triangle. You can combo into them. He could double jump, all that stuff, from the last game carried over. You need health orbs, you need health, green chests or health, blue chests or magic, and red chests that we will see later on are experience points that you can use to upgrade, but we won't be using those for a while because right now, if you've played any sequel to a game ever, you already know what's going to happen by the end of this sequence. Kratos is going to lose all of his abilities, meaning that all of this is pointless because, yes, this is kind of the power trip of the game to, let you know that Kratos is, I would say unstoppable, but, he has his power. So yeah, the only magic spell that we have from last game is Poseidon's Rage, where, by the way, every time you use it, Kratos spouts out a line of some sort, which is usually like something along the lines of like, I am the God of War, or none shall defy me, stuff like that. He cycles through them, so it doesn't really get that annoying, but it is kind of funny that he says that, especially if like, oh, that guy's stuck. That poor man. Oh, okay, the statue fixed it. But, back what I was saying, though, about the God of War remakes coming out. Yes, at the time of this recording, last week they announced that the God of War remakes are happening. They are remaking 1, 2, and 3. So, yes. I was actually shocked about the 3 remake. I really was only wanting God of War 1 and 2 remake because I feel like those two need it the most. But I feel like I know why they're remaking 3, because, in all honesty, there are some things about the story of 3 and, well, the story in general, I feel like could use an update, especially after God of War 2018 and Ragnarok. By the way, QTEs do carry over into this game, so yes, but they are, I would say they're a little more merciful in this game. They make it a little easier. I don't think they're as tight-timed as they were back in the first game, so you don't have to worry about failing them too much. It just depends on the type, especially if it's one of those ones that involve an analog stick. I think they were a little more, whatchamacallit, not as hard on you about it, but I think that's just me. But I do look forward to the God of War remakes. Oh, for fuck's sake. Well, editing me is gonna have to do some work. You are now seeing the moon from Majora's Mask. And yeah, just like the other game, there is a sex scene, but I'm not wasting my time with it because, as I mentioned already, you lose all your upgrades, so there's really no point in it. Yeah, there's really no point in trying to gather red orbs. I'm just doing it for the love of the game at this point. So yeah, I just ignore them. And I didn't feel like doing too much editing today. But, oh yeah, I just realized I didn't have the tutorials on, so you guys are missing out on the tutorials if you guys care. But, the main thing I look forward to in the God of War remakes is, updated combat. I really do want to see how they fix certain issues from, these games. So especially, the one I'm looking forward to the most, in all honesty, is God of War 1. Because I feel like that could use a lot of updates in terms of, like, just the structure. Because, if you played God of War 1, you know that 90% of it is in the fucking Rings of Pandora. And I wonder if they're going to find a way to make that more interesting, if possible. And maybe spice and add some more cutscenes and stuff like that to make the story more rich and stuff like that. Because I am very aware, also, at the time of this recording, they also revealed and released the God of War Sons of Sparta game. And I know I should be Let's Playing that instead of this. The reason I'm not is because, for one, I literally just bought it yesterday, and I've only played a couple hours. I don't like doing blind Let's Plays that much, especially something that was going to be post-commentary most likely anyway. Because, yes, by the way, this is post-commentary. There is a reason for that. Because, similar to God of War 1, There is a lot of puzzles, so there will be times where I'm focused on the puzzles, so there are a lot of times where I just kind of shut the fuck up. I think the only God of War games that will not be post-commentary will probably be 2018 and Ragnarok. And 3, I would say. You know, the ones that don't have as many puzzles. Well, I mean, God of War 2018 and Ragnarok do have puzzles, but... I mean, I say that this game has puzzles, but this game is also a lot more straightforward than, whatchamacallit. Like, there's a lot more varied environments, in 2 than there are in 1. Like, I will say, we do not have our, like, version of the Rings of Pandora in this game, because... but we will be getting into what the main objective of God of War 2 is if you don't already know it for some reason, if you've never really been exposed to God of War up to this point. But, I guess I should start with my initial thoughts of God of War, God of War 2 specifically. I love 2. I think 2 is one of the better games of the Greek-era games, because of just how many quality of life updates compared to the first game it has. You know, if it was between 2 and 3, I would probably choose 3 over 2. But I love 2 a lot. It is like a very close race between the two. Because I think my least favorite of the Greek saga, I honestly might say Ascension, but I think the only reason is because at the time I played it the first time all the way through, was I was feeling burnout from the Greek saga, so that might be why, and I might be just being too hard on it, but that might be just me. You know, I do look forward to replaying that for the inevitable Let's Play, because I will say I am probably going to be going through a few God of War games for the next few Let's Plays, in celebration of the Greek trilogy getting remade. I know I at least want to do the Greek trilogy. I want to finish off the trilogy with God of War 3, probably next Let's Play, actually. And then I want to start moving on to the Norse games, because I love the Norse games so much. I love 2018 and Ragnarok, especially Ragnarok, but I guess I should also, I guess I should explain what the fuck's been going on. Why am I so scatterbrained with recording lately? It has just been, again, a mixture of things. I think I mentioned it back in the previous Assassin's Creed 3 part. I have just been so bad about sitting down and recording stuff. And I've also been dealing with work, physical, trying to, do some stuff better with my life for a little bit, especially working out a little bit more and just worrying about my general health over the channel. So, sorry about that, but I mean, I'm back. I'm hopefully going to be a little more consistent with recording stuff and getting it out. I think I started around this time last year, so traditions never die, I guess. But I'm not going to shut the fuck up for this cutscene because it's the same shit. It's just a quiet cutscene. But the reason I made God of War 2, one of the another post-commentary Let's Play instead of a live one, like I did the same thing for God of War 2, for God of War 3, God of War 1. I don't know why I have so many God of War games in my head right now. And the reason is because similar to 1, there is a lot of room for error for me. I'm going to be honest, while 2 is not as hard as 1, I will say that now, I still have a lot of moments where I kind of just stopped. I really focused deep into it, so I just kind of would stop talking probably. The only, 3, I think the only time I would stop talking during a fight or something like that would be during, certain boss fights, like against the final boss of 3, or the fight against that one puzzle in Hera's garden. That would probably be the time I probably would have bad commentary for it. But yeah, by the way, if you're wondering, I am using the PS3 version of the God of War Collection on PS3, so I don't really know what the differences are between the PS2 original besides, like, enhanced graphics and shit like that. I don't think there were any quality of life updates that I should be made aware of between the PS2, and I don't recall if there are any. Probably, like... there was also another thing that you guys, I haven't talked about yet, was the bonus mode for this game. So similar to the first game did have this sort of, where you could play with alternate costumes for Kratos. Yes, there were alternate costumes back in God of War 1. I think I mentioned them. I never showed any of them off because I just did a fresh file. But in God of War 1, there were different costumes that Kratos could wear on subsequent playthroughs, where you could wear different costumes. Like, there was, like, Dairy Bastard, the businessman, or was it a lawyer? I don't remember. But, like, there was Dairy Bastard, the businessman with the suitcases, the chef Kratos, stuff like that. That all gave you different perks. God of War 2 does the same thing, where you have different costumes that give you different perks and stuff like that. You know, like, one of them gives, like, different magics. But there's also these... Okay. Anyway, there's like there's that urn that I just got, the Urn of Gaia, that also gives you a certain perk. I don't remember what that one is specifically, but the reason I didn't activate it was because, again, I wanted to do a fresh file for this game, but there is a good reason to do bonus play. It's essentially New Game Plus, or I say essentially, it is New Game Plus, where you keep all of your upgrades and stuff like that, and you also actually gain access to a new weapon that you can use throughout the entire game. And it's basically like, you know, your literal, like, I would say God mode, but God mode is the hard mode of this game. But I would say, I guess, your, what you want to call it? Overpowered mode? I don't know what else to call it. I can't say God mode because then I feel like I'm describing hard mode when it comes to this game. Because if you looked at the difficulty names, they changed the names of the difficulties, where I believe this, back in last game, Human was the normal mode, Spartan was... No, I know last game, the hardest mode was God mode, and Spartan...
Kratos, I do not need your help, Zeus! I can take down this beast!
I offer you more than help, Kratos. I offer you power. I offer you the Blade of Olympus. It was this blade that ended the Great War and defeated the Titans. Drain your godly powers into the sword, Kratos. Only then will you reach your full potential.
Why do you aid me now?
What I do now, I do for the good of all Olympus.
I'm sure, buddy. Anyway, what was I saying before I got interrupted by Zeus? Now I want my revenge on him. Anyway, I believe that the difficulty names back in God of War 1 were like Human. I think Spartan was the normal difficulty. God, no. I can never remember. I know this game's this very hard mode that you unlock when you beat the game once is Titan mode, and hard mode is God mode, and I think this mode is Spartan. You know what? I can just, let's quick Google search like usual. Oh, that's... I cannot read that. I genuinely cannot read that. That is the blurriest fucking image I have ever seen in my entire life. Well, I'm gonna have to see if I can decipher it. Let me see. In God of War 1, it was Mortal was easy, Hero was normal, Spartan was hard, and God was very hard. And then I think in God of War 2 they changed it to where Mortal was easy, Spartan was normal, God was hard, and Titan was very hard. And then in God of War 3 they changed it again to Spartan was easy, God was normal, Titan was hard, and Chaos was very hard. And then I think in God of War 2018 they changed it to where it was like easy, normal, give me God of War and stuff like that. Because that's just what it was back then. And I think they kept similar name. I think they in like Chains of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta it was something else. I think Chains of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta, I think they kept the God of War 2 ones. And then Ascension, I think they did the same. I think they did the same as God of War 1. That or they didn't name it at all. I don't recall. Ah. By the way, yes, similar, and yes, they also did bring back the balancing segments in God of War 2 that were in God of War 1. To my recollection, I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think ahead. There's not as many in this game. Looking back, I don't think there's as many in this game. I know in God of War 3 they're gone completely. And in fact, in Chains of Olympus. There's actually a joke that really was really funny when I first played it. On your first playthrough, if you're playing on the PS3, there's achievements or trophies, and there's an achievement for finishing all the balancing segments. You get that achievement right at the beginning of the game because there's only one balancing segment in the entire game, and I fucking died at that because I was like, oh, okay. Because I expected a lot more, but no, they only did the one. And then Ghost of Sparta, I believe, doesn't have any at all. I don't think Ascension has any. No, Ascension doesn't have any. Because if they got rid of them in 3, why would they bring them back for Ascension? That doesn't make sense. And then in 2018 in Ragnarok, it's a whole different style, so it doesn't matter. Alright, so we're actually in the final phase of this battle, or I would say final phase, but this is kind of the part of the battle where we start to realize we're about to lose all our upgrades. So what we have to do is we have to stun the Colossus enough to where he's, we have to stun him for a little bit, but we're not going to be doing a QTE this time, at least not the first time. What we're doing is we're trying to get him stunned so we can get enough time to where we can do as Zeus said, which is drain our godly power into the Blade of Olympus. So yeah, now he's stunned. So we run over to, you need to run over to the Blade of Olympus, press and hold the R1 button, and you'll start to see what Zeus meant when he said you need to drain your godly power. And that's why I didn't waste my time trying to get red orbs, because you lose them all anyway. So yes, unfortunately, we lost our red orbs, meaning that for one, all of our Blades of Chaos are back to level 1. Our Blades of Athena, sorry, the Blades of Athena are back to level 1 instead of they were at level 5. But that's also why I'm spamming the hell out of Poseidon's Rage, because it's stronger. And for 2, this is the last time we get to use it ever. This is the last time in the God of War franchise until the remake, so we get to use this one. So say bye-bye to your magic meter. And then for the final one, I always just do this. Throw the fist at him. Stuns him instantly. And then you lose all of your health. Not all of it, but you lose it to where you have to get Gorgon Eyes and Phoenix Feathers because they brought that shit back. But at least, you know what, though? I will give credit to God of War. I will always give credit to them about this. They are really good about giving a somewhat good justification on why Kratos loses all of his upgrades in every game after each of them. The only one I think that didn't really do a good job was Ragnarok, but I think Ragnarok just played it off as a joke, where it was Fimbulwinter fucked everything up, and so he just goes, I used it, and that was all they gave. Chains of Olympus didn't have one, because it was immediately after God of War 1, so he was in square one with the Blades of Athena in the first place. Or no, Chains of Olympus was before God of War 1, so they didn't really need to do one. And plus, they justified why Kratos didn't have any of the stuff in Chains of Olympus, because they took it all back while Kratos was passed out in Chains of Olympus. And then Ghost of Sparta, I believe, was a similar reason, where he just stopped using it. And plus, he upgraded himself with what he had in what he has now, because Ghost of Sparta takes place between the first game and this game, so they didn't really need to justify it. And then Ascension didn't need a justification because that was like 10 years ago. And obviously we can, God of War 3, I believe, God of War 3, Kratos dies again for the 50th time, so he loses all of his upgrades on the River Styx. In this game, we literally drain our godly power into the Blade of Olympus, meaning that we lose all of our upgrades as a result. So I gotta give God of War credit there. They've done a really good job justifying why you lose all of your upgrades in the games. You know, unlike, you know, it's hard to do that, I will admit. You know, it's hard to do that for every game in a franchise. Like, you know, people always complain that Metroid has the stupidest reasons for losing your upgrades, and they always point to Metroid Prime 1 where you lose all of your shit because Samus hits the wall, and it is a stupid reason. Same with the authorization system in Metroid Other M. But, you know, I gotta give credit where credit's due for Metroid. When, like, Fusion, you know, it was because the X-Parasites, and then Super Metroid, you just didn't have them for some reason. Metroid Prime 3 could have done a justification where you lose everything you had because of the Phazon infection that you get, but they didn't. They still let you keep the stuff you had, which was like the Morph Ball bombs, the Grapple Beam. Oh, you get the Grapple Beam, but you start off with the Space Jump, Morph Ball missiles. No, you start off with the missiles. You technically don't, because you get them during the tutorial sequence in Prime 3, I remember now. But you start off with quite a bit, and then you keep it after the Phazon infection, which I give credit. I gotta give credit where credit's due on that one. Prime 2, they did a pretty okay job where it was the Ing that stole her shit. Metroid 2 didn't have one, mainly because I don't think Metroid 2 fucking cared. Zero Mission kind of gave one for the midway point. Well, like, again, it's always hard to like give a justification on why you lose all of your upgrades when you're playing as the same character in a sequel. You know, Zelda's a different story. Zelda is a different one because usually their games aren't sequels, with a few exceptions, mind you. Like, they're not direct sequels, you know, like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdoms are. But you can see why Link lost everything. Or at least the Master Sword, anyway. Majora's Mask, I guess Link just doesn't start with anything. I mean, plus he's a kid. Oh yeah, there's a treasure chest up here. I don't know how the hell it was sitting up there, but there's one up here. Our first Gorgon Eye! Yeah, they brought back Gorgon Eyes and Phoenix Feathers. Just like back in the last game, those expand your health and magic, respectively. So yeah. Just keep an eye out for them. You know, just like God of War 1, you gotta make sure you go off the beaten pathway. If the game's telling you to go one way, go the other. There's most likely something there. That's just usually the mentality you should have. I'm trying to think of other games where you lose your upgrades a lot. For, you know, seemingly stupid reasons. You know, because... You know, I'm on that train of thought now. Actually, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, I will always compliment it on the fact that you don't lose your upgrades at all. If anything, Cal sort of just enhances some of them off of his off screen, which I really like. You know, you do nothing but learn new abilities in Jedi Survivor, so I gotta give them credit. I gotta give them credit for that. I like that. And I wonder how they're gonna do that in Star Wars Jedi 3. And by the way, yes, we are inside the statue. We are inside the Colossus now. What we're trying to do is we're just trying to destroy the inside of it, because that's the thing that's making it. We're trying to destroy the core or whatever. And by doing that we're going to be destroying the statue from the inside. By the way, this is the fucking tutorial. That's what I love about these fucking games, especially the Greek saga. You know, this is the fucking tutorial. You know, this is some stuff you would probably be doing towards like the midway point or end game. No, this is the tutorial. By the way, I will say I love God of War 2's soundtrack. I love the first game's soundtrack, but 2's is just so good. You know, like 2's is just like one of my favorite soundtracks in the series. Next to Ragnarok, I would say. Ragnarok / 2018, because they reuse the soundtrack. I love 3's too. 2 and 3's is just, man, it's just, it's like, I just love 2 and 3's in particular. 2's especially. 2's I just love. Especially the main theme, The End Begins. I just love that theme. And there we go.
Do you see, Gods of Olympus? Do you need more proof than this?
Placing all of his godly power into the weapon had rendered Kratos mortal, vulnerable to the arms of death. Bloodied and beaten, he knew that to have any hope of survival, he must retrieve the blade of Olympus. Humiliated before his Spartan army, Kratos dragged himself up from the dirt.
You know, if Kratos just like turned around for like 2 seconds and saw the hand coming towards him and then moved like 2 feet in front of him, none of this shit would have happened. But no, he had to be cocky. By the way, one thing I love is like you can see that you can't do anything. Like that's a heavy, that was a light attack, that's a heavy attack. Watch how you jump. Like, look at how you jump and roll or anything like that. Yeah. It's like, I love this. It's just so funny. I've always loved it when the developers of the God of War series just have a thing about fucking with us. Especially in this kind of instance. And this is really good storytelling. I love that. You know, I will always say that the Greek games aren't as good about storytelling as, you know, Ragnarok and 2018. But I still have to admit, they do really good with storytelling.
Yes, I am forced to attend to this matter myself. Athena refused to undo her mistake. Imagine caring for a creature such as yourself.
Why? Why would you betray me?
It is you who would betray me. Am I to stand idly by while Olympus is threatened? Your hands are already stained by the blood of a god.
At least like 3 or 4, Zeus.
Let Ares' fate be my own.
The gods are petty and pathetic, and your rule is weak.
I grow tired of this insolence. I am the king of Olympus. And it is my way that is the way of the gods. You must vow to forever serve me.
I serve no one.
Then you leave me no choice.
Yep, so now we got a boss fight against Zeus. You kind of see the problem here, right? Come on, Kratos, fuck him up! Dodge, Kratos, to the left! Oh, never mind.
I would rather die.
He says as he defends himself.
It did not have to be this way, my son. This path is of your choosing.
A choice from the gods. is as useless as the gods themselves.
Even now, as you draw your last breath, you continue to defy me? Everything you have ever known, Kratos, will now suffer because of your sacrilege. You will never be the ruler of Olympus. The cycle ends here.
You will pay for this, Zeus. Be certain of that.
As the life drained out of Kratos, the arms of Hades reached out to claim their prize. But there was more resting on Kratos' shoulders than he could know. Kratos was destined to bring about change so severe that it would shake the very pillars of Mount Olympus. His death was something that I could not allow.
Ares! Destroy my enemies, and my life is yours!
Fight, Spartan. You are not meant to die here. This is not the end.
Who are you?
I am the Titan Gaia, ever-present Mother of Earth. I have watched you become a powerful warrior, and I have been with you through all the events of your life, but I can no longer simply watch. We will help you defeat Zeus. Death is an escape, Kratos. You are a warrior of Sparta, not a coward. Only a coward accepts death.
I am no coward.
Then you must fight. I will show you the way to the Sisters of Fate. Only with their power will you defeat Zeus.
Christ, can I say something? I love how the CG cutscenes look in this game, and I genuinely can't wait to see the remake now. That was a PS2 cutscene. I mean, I know it's a CG cutscene, so it's not in-engine, but man, I love the CG cutscenes in this game. They look so beautiful. I really can't wait to see what the remake pulls off, especially like scenes like this one, like we're literally climbing out of Hades right now. By the way, yes, this is Kratos' second time right now. He died last game, and he died again, and he's coming back again. Jesus Christ. At this point, we just need to stop killing him. But yeah, Kratos, it's a lot to unpack there. Zeus killed Kratos. Kratos now wants revenge. Turns out that Gaia was the one narrating all of God of War 1 and a bit of this game. By the way, from here on out, we don't hear Gaia narrate, I believe, for the rest of the franchise. I mean, she technically narrates the intro to God of War 3, the recap, but no, she doesn't narrate anymore ever since she revealed that she's been watching us. She's been watching Kratos this entire time. But there is a lot to unpack there. So, yeah, turns out Zeus kind of screwed over Kratos, and now Kratos wants revenge. So you can kind of guess what Kratos' motivation is for this game. Last game was kill Ares. Now this game is kill Zeus. But we will see more of what Kratos is going to do to kill Zeus next time. So the next time we meet in God of War 2, we're going to be seeing what Kratos does to try and kill Zeus and see what Gaia has in store for us. So see you guys next time, and take care.